Hey, this your girl, msyelladiva. I am bringing you two episodes, the last two episodes of Love and Marriage Detroit. Reunion Part 1 and Part 2. Season 2, Episode 11 and 12, okay? So, I was in the hospital I think the week before, I don't even remember. But I couldn't get these videos out. So, I had to, put them all together, but I'm feeling much better now. All right, now, if you're new here, welcome, 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 welcome. We do reviews here, okay? All right. And if you are returning, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right, now, give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, and comment to my channel, and we will begin. All right. So Carlos introduced the new couples, Kim and Marcel, and Bravo and Lakita. Bravo was on last season of Love and Marriage Detroit. However, Lakita wasn't, so he brought his wife onto the show. Okay. Anthony made a comment about, Bravo and Brandon, eggplant riding again. And so Brandon was like, he always got the D on his mind. And so apparently he has a quick response now. Okay. And he was like, yeah, Detroit. Yeah. Yeah. Because he said that in the confessional that he had the dick on the D on his mind. And so now he got a quick response. Oh, Detroit, yeah, that's right. And then Carlos was like, I got dollars on my mind, honey. So anyway, it is what it is. Latoya said that the focus was mostly on Brandon and Kristina this year. Oh, and then Kolbe, co-signed, said, yeah, it was the Brandon and Kristina show. And Carlos said, listen, they brought the D to the show. So that's the reason why they got the most screen time. And he said, and the D is not the word that Anthony likes to throw around. The D is for drama, okay? And so he was like, that's the reason why they got the most airtime. So Kristina, and so Carlos asked about Kristina and Brandon. And so Kristina said, I thought we were in a good place. Brandon needs to do a better job at communicating. And he said, because it's hard for every 6 months, somebody wants to divorce you. I I totally agree. It is hard when every 6 months you giving up on the relationship. You ain't even putting in no effort. You just giving up on the relationship. Yeah, and that would be hard too. So then Brandon was like, "Well, I didn't feel included in our marriage." Well, what did you feel, baby? What did you feel? Please tell me what you felt in this marriage. Okay? And he said, and I thought marriage was disposable. He said my parents got divorced when they couldn't make it, so I was gonna get a divorce too. I was gonna divorce the kids and everybody and everybody. He said I was willing to divorce the kids and everything. So Kristina was gonna have full custody. He wasn't even going to argue with you about joint custody, about no custody, honey. You was gonna have sole custody, and he was gonna pay child support, okay? And he was gonna see him whenever he could. Brandon, that's not a man, boo. That's not a man, okay? That's not a man. You got to go through the trenches with your spouse, baby. You got to go through the trenches, And if you felt like you weren't included in the marriage, well, then you need to voice that to your spouse and say, listen, we're gonna have to make some different rules around here. I'm quite sure you weren't included because you weren't making any decisions. You have to make decisions to be included, okay? All right? And so if you not going to make the decision, then who going to make the decision? The other adult in the relationship. Ding, ding, ding. The other um adult in the relationship, they got to make a decision. I don't think she wanted to make all the decisions, but you wasn't making any. I told you, Kristina, you gonna have to be the leader. He not gonna lead because he don't know how to lead, because his daddy didn't teach him how to lead. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he had no uncles or nothing to teach him how to lead. So he don't know how to lead. He don't know how to lead the family. So Kristina, you gonna have to lead the family. There's some female led families. Okay. It is what it is, son. It is what it is. I think my grandmother led the family. My grandfather was happy. She making most of the decisions. She didn't make them all, but she made most of them. Okay, and he worshipped the ground my grandmama walked on to the day he died. Okay, so it is what it is, baby. You gonna have to take the rain, sugar. I told you that a long time ago. I told you that. But anyway, Brandon said his pastor gave him the green light to get a divorce. Marcel said, you got to blow my brains out before I leave my family. That's right. But is that before you cheat on your family too? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just asking for a friend. You cheat, but I don't know if you cheat or not. Okay, I don't know if you cheat or not, but most men do. Okay, so you would cheat. Okay, but she can't leave you. Okay. Okay, I'm just checking. I'm asking for a friend because I don't know if you cheat or not. But he said he got to blow his brains. Somebody got to blow his brains out, before he leave his family. Russell said you're not supposed to leave the family unless it's infidelity. So that's what. And so then Carlos was like, was there any infidelity? Brandon was like, no. And Christina said, I ain't cheat. And then Carlos said, well, do you think he cheated? And then she was like, well, as you know. So she don't know if he cheated or not. But she said if he say he ain't cheat, then he ain't cheat. And that's a good point because you really can't prove it. You know. And you really can't prove it. So if she had some inclination that he cheated, maybe. But I don't know if she, whatever the case may be, they good. They good now for right now. Anyway, so Carlos asked Anthony, um, uh, you tried to get Brandon and Kristina to stay together. You wanted to take Kristina out but Latoya wasn't okay with you taking Kristina out and talking to her. Latoya was like, listen, I wasn't okay with that because he trying to be genuine, and then, they going to throw some little slick shots and shit in there. And so she was just like, she said, just like Brandon did about my corks. About my corks. Yeah, just like Brandon did. To get back at Anthony, he gonna talk about my corks. So it could be some slick shots, you know, thrown at Anthony to get back at me. I don't know. Don't get me lying. I don't know why would she do that to. Well, maybe to Anthony. I don't know. I don't think she got any problems with you, Latoya, but I'm quite sure you can make it a problem if you want it to be. But whatever the case may be. And Brandon, said, listen, he said that he spent $250,000 on brand, and he should have spent 275 to get better corks. That's what he said. And so she was like, well, this is my brand. And he was like, well, it's not it's just an object. He's like, no, it's my brand. And she just kept going, no, it's my brand, it's my brand, it's my no, not I'm like, bitch, let me talk. How about that? How about that? You know. But, and so Anthony was like, yeah, we just say yes, ma'am, and everything like that. No, you ain't gonna talk over me, Sugar Shack. We're not doing that. We're not doing that, honey. It's my brand. I don't give a fuck. You see, it been all kinds of bleeps. See, they don't want me on the show because I can't hold my cool. I can't. Mm-mm. It'd be all kinds of beef. I'll probably be the best uh, uh, reality show because once they start bleeping and stuff like that, and then I just lose it. Yeah, they always gonna come get me to come back because I'm gonna lose it after a while. I can't be on reality TV because then I can't be that phony. Can't be that phony. I could be a little phony, just a little, but I can't be all the way phony. Okay, I can't. Anyway, so Bravo and Lakita, they talking about sharing his location. He finally, gave up the ghost and shared he's sharing his location. Nobody really care. Then Carlos said, you the prince of Detroit, and nobody knew you was married. And so Bravo gave a good explanation. He was like, I'm not hiding my wife from the world. I'm hiding the world from my wife because everybody don't got good intentions, and that's a good point. That's a good point. You know, you be out and somebody want vengeance with you and come get your girlfriend. I mean your wife. I don't blame you. Yeah, you need to sit at home, Sugar Shack. You need to sit at home. And so Lakeitha was talking about how she lost her dad at a young age, and so she don't want Bravo out late at night and all that other stuff. And I get it, but you really can't prevent it, Sugar. You really can't prevent it. He could be going to the store and get hit. You know, when it's his time, it's his time. I'm just saying. Anyway, Kolbe and Russell's footage, about her baby, her and her baby. Kolbe said gender disappointment is real. I got that one. She said it is a real thing, honey. She was like, because I was disappointed that I was having another girl because he wanted a boy. And I don't think I can go through this again. And she was just like, I just wanted two and to be done with it. But you may be like Brandon and Kristina. You may just have two girls, and that be it for you, okay? Cause apparently Russell said she was in pain every day during this pregnancy. I don't think you want unless y'all do the in vitro. I mean the surrogate. Y'all can do. Y'all got some money. Y'all can do the surrogate. Mhm. You know. And then y'all can do the in vitro fertilization where y'all can make sure it's a boy she's carrying. That way you really be done. Yeah, that's what y'all need to do on that next one because it's gonna be a next one. It's definitely gonna be a next one, but you know, y'all might need to do something different. Okay. But Kolbe said the transition from one child to two children is ghetto. I don't know the feeling. Okay. Well, I was raising my niece, and then I had my baby, but we weren't like they weren't on under the same roof all the time. So it was like a year that they were under the same roof. But yeah, I can understand it. I can understand it, but I don't know because I only got one child. Thank you. He is graduating in a couple days. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Um. So then, Carlos said, Russell, the Bible says first in line is the spouse, and but you don't practice that with your children. Yes, because um that little girl was telling her mama off, and Kobe was like, "That's inappropriate," and Russell didn't say anything. And Russell said, he said, I am trying. I'm trying to do better. He said, but when because I'm a man, I don't know how to like soft parent as far as you know, uh, as far as chastising his daughter to the point where she not broken. She's not broken, okay? So that's what he's thinking. So, but he's trying to get an even balance. So I get it, I get it. My daddy really never yelled at me, but when he did, I can count on one hand how many times he yelled at me. But when he did, I know I would never do that again in life. So Russell just got to lay down the law. You are not going to talk to your mama and my wife like that, little girl. Okay? So, because, but, uh, uh, Kobe, you got to do a better job in disciplining your kids as well. You said you wanted to do soft parenting because you didn't want your children to be scarred from their upbringing. I understand that, because apparently you're scarred from your daddy um, not being there and things like that. And your daddy was doing the most, I guess. But what you need to do is you need to set boundaries. Not that's inappropriate. No. Boundaries, okay? And you need to let them know once you break this boundary, there's consequences. And the consequences could be you standing in a corner, you you on punishment, you get a slap, you get a belt, you get it's some kind of boundary that you cross, and you okay. That's what you need to do. You need to set some boundaries for that little girl, cause that little mouth is only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. So you need to set some boundaries. That little that's not appropriate. It's not good enough. What you should have said is like, little girl, that's not appropriate. And if you say that to me one more time, you disrespect your mama one more time, there's going to be some consequences. Little girl, do you understand me? Do you understand me? That's what you should have said. That's what you should have said. Okay? Make a no. Do you understand me? Do you? Okay. All right. Let it happen again. Here. Let it happen again. See, it won't happen again. It won't happen again. Okay. But anyway, Carlos was like, did everybody congratulate you on your new baby? She said everybody but Kristina. And that's where the first episode ends. So on to reunion part 2. So Chris said, Crystal. I gave her a whole new name. Kristina said that I didn't reach out, And so Latoya was like, yeah, because you can't admit when you wrong. Kristina was like, this is between me and Kolbe. This ain't got nothing to do with you. Now sit back and relax, Latoya, doctor. Latoya, okay, and sit your ass back. Ain't nobody talking to you. So, Kolbe was like, or Carlos said that, uh, Kristina said that, no, Kolbe said Kristina only reaches out during filming, but other than that, she don't reach out. And Kristina said, well, the last few interactions seem very dry. Like you ain't want to be bothered with me. You ain't want to fuck with me no more. So she didn't call, and Kristina was like, and she ain't reach out to me either. And so yeah, she didn't reach out either. And so but Kolbe said, well, I knew she wasn't gonna reach out to me. And so Carlos was like, well, do you want a friendship? And so Kolbe was like, I'm not pressed. I said, oh, no, you didn't. And so she said, when someone crossed me, I put up my guard. And it's hard to break it, as we can see. Because Kristina been trying to break it for a while. And she ain't letting up. So Kristina was like, I don't even have an issue with you. And so, but she said, I apologize for not reaching out. Um, and I apologize for, and then she started tearing up because she said, your daughter don't even know me, and she don't even know Aunt Kristina now. And so Carlos, once Kristina started crying, Carlos told Russell that they can switch places. So Russell sat by Brandon and Kristina sat by Kolbe, and they sat. And so Kolbe was like, I'm trying to heal from what my father walking out my life, and I'm trying not to be cold to you. I told you she do have some trauma in her life, in her upbringing, in her life, that is she got to recover from. And I understand that, but what you need to do is you need to make your children respect you, because they don't respect you now, they're not going to respect you in the future, and then it's going to be all kinds of chaos. Okay, so you need to lay down the law now, little girl. Who in the fuck are you talking to, little girl? Okay. that would be my statement. Who in the fuck are you talking to? Because you're not talking to me like that. You are not talking to me like that. And if you try to talk to me like that again, there will be some consequences. Do you understand me, little girl? Do you understand me? See, I would have never took that. And on camera too. On camera too. It'd have been like, little girl, who in the beep do you talking to? Okay, I cracked myself up. Okay, let me get to this. Let me get to this. All right. So so Kolbe trying to heal from whatever her father did to her. Kristina was like, I don't come for you. She said, but I am human too. I apologize for not reaching out. That was petty. At least she admitted it. That was petty. Okay, but so they hug and whatever. Moving on. Chelsea come out. They do the Chelsea footage and whatever. So Carlos said, Kolbe, do you think Chelsea was doing too much for the cameras? You know, you know, Kolbe gonna say yeah. But she said yeah, she was doing too much for the camera. Um so but then Chelsea was like, well, it was 2 against 1. Because she said, because I was talking to Latoya in response to her her, our interactions with her husband, Anthony. They got into it in a different scenario, and then Anthony called her a bird and everything like that. And then when they went to ring shopping, Chelsea went, and said something to Latoya. Latoya said something to her, and then Kolbe jumped in it, and then she called them the Two Stooges and stuff like that. So whatever. Okay, I think it's all made up for the camera, if you ask me. Okay, if you ask me, I think it's all, most of the shit is made up for the camera. I ain't gonna say all of it, but most of this shit is made up for the camera. Okay. Cause Kim already said she puts on for the camera. She already admitted that she put on for the camera, and I think most of them do. Most of them put on for the camera. But anyway, but Latoya said that's not fair because I didn't do anything to you, and so Chelsea was like, what seems to me is it's like damage control. Um, uh, her husband her husband disrespects her, so let me find a way to be mad at her. Whatever. So Latoya was like, you playing the victim. I kind of figured she playing the victim too. So Anthony was like, well, listen, I went too far. We ain't even gonna, get into any more of that. And then she said, and no one stood up for me. That's true. Nobody did stand up for you. Um, but then Chelsea, um, um, was talking to Bravo in some never seen beautiful being footage. Apparently she was abused. I think in a relationship she was abused, but don't quote me on that. She may have been abused in her childhood. I don't know. It could be in the childhood, in the relationship. I don't know. She was abused, and that's a trigger for her. And nobody stood up for you anyway. Anyway, Anthony apologized. Moving on. I ain't really care nothing about Chelsea anyway. So then Kim and Kristina footage, and I thought all of that was made up. Okay, because Kristina called her husband mediocre because they use Android phones. That's what the big blow up was at Bravo's anniversary dinner. Okay, so that anyway. So she said, um, Kim said it wasn't a comment, it was disrespect. And so Christina held a sign up talking about lies, and I was just like, oh, so we got the props like Married to Medicine, delusional. Choir held up a little thing saying delusional. Y'all really trying to make this show more than what it is, because it really ain't nothing. So Carlos said at the ladies' brunch, you were in tears talking about you and Christina's friendship. And then Kim was like, yeah, then she goes to her birthday party and talk about me. And so Christina was like, well, your tears are manipulative. And so Kim said, yours are too. And she was like, yeah, I know. And so uh, she said, why was I the horrible friend? I let you be you. She said, and so I cater to your personality, because you high maintenance. So Kim was like, am I a high maintenance friend, Latoya? And Latoya was like, no. And so Kim's like, in friendship, I just want everybody to feel love, the way I didn't get it. And I was just like, oh, you are high maintenance if that's the case. And she said, and I pray for everybody. I pray for everybody. Okay. So Christina was like, well, listen, I hear your heart in those words. And so they ended with the men bragging on stage about their accomplishments. Nobody really cares, especially Anthony. He bragging the most. But that was the end. Okay, that was painful too, because I think a lot of that stuff is made up for the camera, and I mean they playing in our faces, and that's just irritating me. And I heard Love and Marriage Huntsville ain't even coming on no more, but I can understand that. I mean that last season was a hot ass mess. Sunny, Destiny, you know, no. Melody, she left, she didn't want to be bothered with nobody. you know, Kimmy and Maurice doing damage control over the little interview they had on, was that Carlos King? I think so. I don't know. Yeah. So they doing damage control, and Tisha Marceau just Tisha Marceau. So yeah, and yeah, Nell and Fletcher. So yeah. Yeah, this can go too far as I'm concerned. If this is all you gonna give me, that can go to. Y'all ain't even got to do no more than that, honey, because it is what it is. Anyway, it's your girl, msyelladiva. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.